Hi again, Year 9. So today we're looking at 1,000 Splendid Suns again, and we are learning to answer exam questions 1 and 2 for Language Paper 1 Section A. So we're revisiting those skills today. What you need to do for the do now is watch this video until I say pause and reread the extract. You can also listen to Mrs. Dogwell's reading of it. It's a good idea to recap it because it's been a few days since you've read the extract. So please read the extract or listen to Mrs. Dogwell's reading of it and pause the video now. So I'm presuming you have finished rereading it. We're going to move on to what you need to do for task 1. Task 1 is a style of Language Paper 1, so that's your retrieval question. You need to read specific lines and then retrieve 4 things about it. So for this particular one, you want to read lines 1 to 2 of the source, so and then list 4 things Layla notices about the man. So list 4 things, put them separately, don't clump them as one giant group of text, because that only counts as one thing. Also, only write things she notices from lines 1 to 4. If you write something about line 5, 6 or 7, it's not going to count. It has to be lines 1 to 4. So that's what you need to do for task 1. When you finish task 1, play the video again. Until then, pause it and get on with task 1. So I'm hoping you've finished task 1 now. We're going to go, let's have a quick run over the answers. I want to give yourself a tick or a cross, depending if you've got the answers, and then give yourself a score out of 4. You need to give yourself a score out of 4 in task 2 here. So we'll run through the answers quickly together. So you could say he's sitting on a park bench, so you could say park bench or just bench, either is fine. He has a veiled woman at his side. He is bouncing a child on his knees, or he has a child on his knees, either of those are fine. He is tall. He is slender, so you could accept synonyms, which you could say he's skinny or he's thin. Anything that's a synonym of slender we find as well. He has a beard. He's wearing an open collared shirt. Interesting that they want open collared for this part. Interesting detail there. So do remember to be specific when you're retrieving these things. Yep. He is wearing a grey coat. And he has missing buttons on his coat, so that's a really specific one and they want you to look in detail at that. So any of those 4 is fine. Give yourself a score out of 4. Now, moving on to task 3, reread lines 45 to 61. I've put them in there for you. So that's what you need to do for task 1. Pause the video and have a quick reread of that section. Why are you hello again, so we're going for task 4 now. Why you're rereading that section is because we're having a look at question 2. Question 2 is the in-depth analysis question where you will be given a particular section of text to read about. In this question, it is the text you've just read in the section you just read in task 3. So for you answer question 2, I want you to watch this video here. It's a Mr. Bruff video, who is an amazing English teacher come professional YouTuber who does the most amazing analysis on the AQA exam board. That is the exam board we go with Great Torrington for English. So do follow that link and watch Mr. Bruff break it down. I've explained this video to in our last couple of lessons when we read Half a Yellow Sun, but it might be nice to have someone else explain it in a slightly different way. It might help you understand it a bit better. So watch that video and then come back for task 5. So pause the video and watch Mr. Bruff now. Hello again, Year 9. So we're moving on to task 5, which instead of jumping straight in with question 2, we're going to break it down a little bit and plan it here. So this question you need to write about and explain the effect of a language device. Be specific about the effect. Don't just say it makes the reader, engages the audience or creates dramatic effect. Really be specific about what effect it's creating. Again, for language, you can analyse language devices, particular words and phrases which are of interest, and sentence forms. What I've done here is you want to be writing about 2 P's for this question because it is only an 8-mark question. So about 2 P's, you can easily get 4 marks per P's, if that makes sense. Anything under 2 P's, and you're really going to be struggling to get 4 marks, even if you've written the most amazing P's ever. Right, so what I've done here is I've picked 2 quotes out for you. So Layla smiled is a short, simple sentence. And again, the question I'll just reiterate it to you is, how does the writer use language to show Layla's mood at this point? So looking at mood, so I've selected a sentence here where it says Layla smiled, that shows her mood, and the device there is a short, simple sentence. She watched the buses growling idly at the curb, with the peacocks, lions, rising suns, glittering swords painted on their sides. So that's another quote I've picked out for you, and it's personification, a complex sentence, and listing, so it's got a whole host of devices there for you. So if you think about P's, there's the evidence here, and I've highlighted what device is being used. What you need to do is explain the effects, so that would be your explain, zoom in. You can't do much zoom out on these questions because when you're given these extracts in the exam, you won't have read the extract before, it'll be completely new. So it'll be your explain and your zoom in you need to do here for yourself. So spend about 10 minutes writing as much detail as you can there. So pause the video here. So moving on to task 6. Task 6 is where you will answer the question. We'll recap the question to you. How does the writer use language here to show Layla's mood at this point in the narrative? So you've done your evidence here and you've got your explain here, and now you're going to write it up more formally, so you want 2 P's. So the question's asking you how Layla's mood is shown in this part of the text. So you want to say Layla's mood is shown through, and then start explaining there. So you want to be answering the question explicitly at the beginning of each P's paragraph, whenever you write a piece really. So that's what you need to do for task 6. If you're taking slightly longer for task 5, that's okay. You can use a bit of your task 6 time because task 5 and task 6 are the stages of the same task, if that makes sense. So pause the video now and answer task 6. Hi again, Year 9. So now we're going to have a look at question 3. Again, question 3 is just structural analysis, so no language analysis, purely structure. Again, I've explained that to you when we covered Half a Yellow Sun, but I thought you might want to watch Mr. Bruff video, it's animated, and also you could see how another teacher explains the question, might become a bit clearer to you. So please watch the Mr. Bruff video. That's the first thing you have to do for task 7. The second thing you have to do for task 7 is Mr. Bruff will list several structural features that you can write about in these questions. What I want you to do is list the devices that Mr. Bruff lists in the YouTube video. You could actually do that at the same time as you watch the YouTube video. That should take about 10 minutes. That's what you need to do for task 7. You want to be making a list of the structural devices because that can really help you when you answer this question or any other question 3. So pause the video now and crack on with task 7. Right, so for task 8 we're going to be planning an answer to a task 3. So again, here's task 3 styles question. I'm going to say it's a bit more obvious, it's question 3 there. Read the question. You need to think about the whole source. So here, again, you're being told about the whole source. You always have to look at the whole source of question 3. The text is from chapter 36 of the novel, so this is quite a way into this book. Telling you there again, so it's helping you think about what might have come before and what's going to come afterwards. How has the writer structured the text to interest you as a reader? Again, you've got that problematic word interest, so you want to be thinking about what message the author's trying to convey about the structure, how the structure of the text heightens tension, how it develops emotion. That's the sort of thing they mean by interest. Again, it's got the you could write about, and these would pretty much be the same every question 3. They might vary slightly, but pretty much the same. what the writer focuses at the beginning of the extract, I'd always start there because it's your jumping board. How this develops and changes, and any other structural features that interest you. So if you've watched Mr. Bruff's video and you've made a list of structural features, or if you made a list of structural features, or I suppose made a list of structural features, I think it was lesson 2 or 1 on Splendid Sons, where I asked you to make note of all the structural features on PowerPoint. That should be pretty easy for you to start identifying structural features because you have a list of them backed up. If not, you've still got time to go back to the PowerPoint I wrote or watch the Mr. Bruff video. So what you want to do here is explain the effect and find a quote and name the structural feature. So the same as this grid, but I haven't put the quote in for you or name the devices. You're going to be doing that yourself now. So that's what you need to do. Let's pause the video now and crack on with that task. So for the last task, task 9, what you're going to be doing is actually answering this particular question. Question 3 here. You'll be wanting to write it in P's, I'd say 2 to 3 P's. You might want to cover the beginning, middle and end of the extract and how things move on from there, because that will show a great understanding if you encompass the whole range of points throughout the extract. If you're struggling with P's, there is a sheet in handouts which has P's breakdown explaining how to answer P's, and also P's sentence starters for you. Again, it's a bit hard to do the zoom out with these questions because they are unseen, but you definitely can do the zoom in. If you have any questions, please email me, and good luck everyone.